Hello and welcome back to Inter Miami Live. Hope you're all doing well today and you're looking forward to today's episode where hopefully we're going to be building on the 3 victories we had in last episode and turn this season back around. Columbus Crew, Orlando City, Philadelphia Union and then Minnesota United in the MLS Cup, or not the MLS Cup, the US Cup quarterfinals after, of course, we beat New York City FC and then won the Miami Derby last time out, which was pretty exciting. So, obviously, those big games coming up today, which should be quite interesting. As you can see right now, we are sitting 5th in our conference, so still in a good position, although, of course, I say it every time, don't I, but we could have been in such a better position. We are 6 points off Atlanta United at the top of our conference right now, and hopefully some big wins today, including rivals Philadelphia, because they're obviously going to be fighting against us this season for a chance to be in the playoffs. Obviously, top 7 get there, but we want to finish as high as possible. I think it's all seeded. I think the higher you finish, technically, the easier the draw you're meant to get in the playoffs. So that's obviously the option for us. That's what we're going to try and do. Try and finish as high as possible. Orlando City playing against them today. They're sitting bottom of our conference, having only won 3 games this season. So I'd like to think we'd win that one, but you never quite know. Columbus and Philadelphia sitting around us, which is going to be pretty tricky, I've got to say. So hopefully we do well in those particular games as well. So we just come straight off the back of that 3-0 victory against Miami FC. We're just a few days past that now, or just a day past it even. We've got a couple of days before the Columbus Crew game where I think some players are going to be tired and might have to rotate a few players. We probably should have put a little bit more of a backup lineup against the Miami FC team, just because it's a game we should have won really comfortably, no matter who we put out there. At the same time, though, they did go and beat Chicago Fire, so we had to treat it seriously. We had to put some good players on the pitch to make sure we won it. As New York City FC have just beaten New England in their game there, they now go up to 40 points, but we do have a game in hand on them, so we can reduce the gap to them by 3 points should we beat Columbus Crew today. Hopefully, we keep the momentum going, and we actually do get the victory against them. With the first game kicking off at 2 o'clock, which is nice to see, against Columbus Crew. The lineup then, players are looking relatively fit, I've got to say. Aaron Long a little bit tired at the back there. Both him and Figal on yellow card warnings, another one for both of them. They'll both be suspended. So actually it might be sensible to swap Aaron Long out for Lillard to give him a rest, but also we don't want Figal and Long both picking up yellow cards and have to miss out the next game. I'd rather just miss one of them rather than both of them. So we'll do that, just a little precaution heading into this game. But other than that, I'm pretty happy with the lineup. I do quite like De La Garza playing there. He looks quite good there, but I think also just to rotate and keep things a little fresh, Powell can come back on at right back as well. But other than that, we'll keep the lineup as it is right now. Of course, injuries to Pellegrini was quite frustrating. He's out for another 3 weeks or so, which actually isn't quite as bad as first thought. Wynn is out again for how long? For another 7 weeks or so, for quite some time. And Chapman is apparently eligible to be registered now, apparently. I just thought he was injured constantly, but he's not. He's not injured at all. So why is he not back in the side, Chapman? We could use him in the midfield. If we go on to register him, though, if we click there, I don't think we actually can do it at all yet because we're not in a registration period. And even then, even so, we are apparently over our salary cap somehow. I'm not quite sure how that works out. I'm very scared to change things there because I feel like we might not be able to get the squad back that we have right now, which is a little bit weird. Either way, that's the team. Let's submit that team then, which looks pretty good to me. It's the usual side, the usual lineup. We'll talk you through it into the game. I'm aware I didn't do this actually. Robles in goal, Sweat, Lillard, Figal and Powell at the back with a lower and trap midfield. Morgan, Pizarro, Agudelo in the attacking midfield with Carranza starting up front. Agudelo and Carranza scoring plenty of goals last episode as well, which was nice to see. Finally, both of them bagging. Both teams come into this one in a spell of bad form. I suppose we've won 3 of our last games, but 2 of them were cup games. So in terms of MLS form, it doesn't actually look great for us. It's a great opportunity to shake off our malice and find our focus and turn the form around. We'll say that. How are you approaching the task of keeping MLS's leading goal scorers quiet here? I presume that means that Columbus Crew score a lot of goals. Okay. I've noticed the boys have been particularly confident ahead of this one, and I share in their optimism. It's over to them now. We'll say that. This guy has provided plenty of assists in the MLS so far. Do we have a plan to stop him? How many assists? Because he's only scored... He looks like a very good player, I've got to say. Very, very good current ability and potential ability there. And also quite decent attributes to go alongside that. 9 assists so far this season. That's pretty decent. How can we say injure him? Maybe that's something we say. I don't know. We're definitely going to have to pay him close attention, and we've worked on some ideas in training. We'll say that. Lewis Morgan's been pulling the strings in midfield lately. He has been doing quite well. How important will he be here today? We certainly hope that he can keep his form going. He expects that of himself as well. Quite a long pre-match press conference there, but we're finally into today's first game against Columbus Crew, who are playing, I'd say, quite a defensive formation, I've got to say. 2 rows of 4 and then 2 attacking players. That's not really a formation that I would say gets plenty of goals, but they've got 9 assists from one player and it said leading goal scorers or something like that. So clearly they must score goals quite nicely. And they came very close there from that set piece, heading their header onto the crossbar and going over in the end. We, though, are dominating things right now. 72% possession. You love to see it. 5 shots as well. Obviously, we've not managed to turn that into any goals yet, but hopefully we will do right now as Powell on the ball, plays it out to Agudelo on that right-hand side, who races forward, back into Powell. Powell to put the ball into the middle, into Agudelo, who's in the area, into Carranza, blocked, unfortunately not going in the back of a net. If that's what the highlight's for, that's not the greatest highlight. If that's the best chance we can muster in this first half that's highlight-worthy, we're not really doing enough out there, I've got to say. As we approach half-time, 0-0 with Columbus Crew. Nashville and San Jose, 4-2 there. No shortage of goals there. Hopefully we do a little bit better in the second half. Aggressively, far from pleased with what I've just seen from you. Players look fired up by that. So hopefully coming into the second half, we can actually score some goals properly. 10,000 people here today at the Columbus. There's such a disparity, I feel, in the MLS. Like, you get Atlanta United, who I think some fixtures did sell out the stadium, the whole stadium, like 70,000 or so. And yet you get teams like Columbus struggling to get 10,000. There's a massive disparity as we're already 69 minutes into the game and there's no highlights at all in the second half. So, Kissavetta on for Agudelo, I think. Yes, we will do that. Heidman can come on for Will Trapp as well. We'll make that change too. And then we'll also go to a more attacking stance as well. Confirm those changes. Play the game once again. Come on. We've got 20 minutes to score a goal out there. My classic get creative. Let's try that one out, see if it works or not. Probably doesn't because it never normally does. As Pizarro nearly puts it in from a free kick there. I think he hits the crossbar, which is quite frustrating. Yeah, one would work a piece there. As we go to the final 5 minutes of the game, very attacking. Show some passion. How are we... This is so frustrating. 20 shots and yet only 2 of them have been... In fact, only one of them on a highlight, that free kick. The other highlight we had just didn't even get a shot off it. Very disappointing game. I mean, it's good. It's good that we are having that many chances, but clearly the chances were absolutely terrible because we didn't score a goal. We saw hardly any highlights as Lillard picks up a yellow card. Obviously, I'm going to say it's slightly annoying, actually, that Figal didn't get a yellow card then because now we've got the other situation where both him and Lonka both get yellow cards against Orlando City and then they're both suspended for the game after that. We've got to be careful of that. I don't really want to lose players and or 2 centre-backs or 2 key centre-backs at the same time. So not the best of results against Columbus Crew. We're in poor form. A goalless draw isn't the worst result. It's a clean sheet, which is a good positive as well. But I just think after that recent bit of form we'd been on before that, where we'd scored, 10 goals in 3 games, we could have actually got one against Columbus Crew. Hopefully against Orlando, we actually do a little bit better. Hopefully we get there. And they're sitting 12th now in the conference. Toronto have dropped below them on games won. Orlando must have won their game the past weekend or so. So obviously they're in slightly better form than us, technically speaking, I suppose, maybe. So hopefully we just get over that and we send Orlando City back down to the bottom. Of course, it is the Florida Derby now I think about it. That's a huge game. Obviously, I think the MLS will make a big song and dance about that. Because I think the MLS like to play up rivalries despite them, the teams being hundreds of miles apart from each other for the most part. This is suggesting we put Palacios on and Long back on the pitch. We'll swap Long for Figal, but I think we'll leave Palacios on the bench, I think. We'll keep Lewis Morgan on the pitch right now as the press conference is about to begin. We'll do this one because it is a derby, I suppose, to attend the press conference. Saturday's match sees you go up against Orlando City's newly appointed manager, Ron Jans. Ahead of the match, how do you feel about your chances going up against an extremely experienced competitor? Yeah, I don't know what to expect. It's part of the charm of football. I have no idea who Ron Jans is. Who has he managed before in the past? Toronto, Cincinnati. He's been at Groningen, he's been all over Europe and the Dutch and Belgian leagues and things like that, so perhaps I maybe should have heard of him, but at the same time, I don't really pay too much attention to football outside of Lincoln City, if I'm honest with you. I'm going to say I think he's a terrific hire for them, and I'm expecting a very tough time on Saturday, just to big him up a little bit. Do I have any sort of relationship with him? I don't know him, but I respect him. I'll say that. Speculation is mounting over the future of Alvas Pauser's contract due to expire pretty soon. Can you give us an update as to what must be an urgent matter for you? Okay. Well, he's just as likely to sign a new deal as he is to leave. Now, let's not say that. I don't see him leaving the club in the near future. I'll say that just to get the fans pumped up. You must be delighted that he's going to remain an Inter Miami player then. How soon will it be wrapped up? What should we say? I'm not too sure because it involves a lot of other parties, because I'm not really fussed about doing other transfers or the contracts, because we're only doing this for one season, of course. There's been a fair bit of speculation recently concerning Figal's contract. It's all contract stuff that we're not too fussed about. Again, there's room for discussions, we'll say that, just to get the press over the line. I thought they might ask a few more questions about a rivalry, which I should have stoked up more, actually, saying I hate the manager or something like that. So I should have thought about that, I suppose. I've done that every other time against teams that we're not rivals with. But either way, we are now here at the Orlando City game. A few other games kicking off before us as New York beat Chicago, and the other New York team draw with Toronto at the bottom of the table. Seattle draw with Houston. Atlanta beat Montreal Impact, which isn't good for us. We want Atlanta to start slipping up so we can start to catch them up in the league. Right then, what we're going to do then is swap over Aaron Long and we won't swap those two over, but then we'll bring Figal off for Aaron Long, just because they're both on yellow cards and I don't want them getting suspended at the same time. We should have had some players playing for the under-21 side, or the second team, actually, I think, over the past few days. By look at things, some other players' sharpness has increased a little bit, so we'll keep up with that. I've noticed that Morgan, actually, is on 84% condition, so that's probably why it's telling me to swap him out with Palacios, and I think we will do that for this game, just to rest him. We don't want him getting too tired and risking injuries. But other than that, we will leave the lineup as it is for now, because I think that's pretty much as good as it will get. Hopefully then, we go out and beat our Florida rivals, Orlando City. They're coming to us first of all this season, so obviously we want to get a nice victory at home against them. Tunnel interview, are you prepared to face Orlando City FC? Yes, I am. Are you happy with Powell's performance at wing-back? He's the one responsible for putting the work to play there, not me. Therefore, it's up to him whether he continues playing there too. We'll say that to encourage him. Diego Palacios, given his lack of match fitness, how long can he expect to last out there? I think he can last the full match, we'll say that. Your thoughts on Sporting Kansas City parting company on their manager? I don't really care, if I'm honest with you, so we'll just say he's better off without them, or they're better off without him. Right, kickoff is upon us. Ben swept with a throw-in in towards Pizarro, who loses possession straight away, and Orlando looking to build from the back. They don't get the ball out, though, properly, and Agudelo coming down the right-hand side. We can put the cross into the middle. Carranza's there, who can't quite win it, and it goes out for a corner instead. In fact, a goal kick or a free kick, because apparently Agudelo was offside, so Carranza must have passed it back to him when he should have known, really, that he was offside. Pizarro's free kick into the middle is cleared, and Orlando City FC look to get rid of it, although Trapp with a good interception there as Sweat on the ball plays it back towards Aaron Long, who plays it all the way back to Robles in goal. Looking to distribute it quite nicely, he plays it back out short to Aaron Long, who plays it into Larda, the ball-playing defender in today's game. Trapp out towards Agudelo, who looks to bring it down this right-hand side. Doesn't really do much with it, though. Does get it to Pizarro, though, which is quite good, who goes on a run himself into the area. Shot, not very good, though. Perhaps should have crossed it or passed it just a little bit, just so we could actually get a better shot on target from someone else, but there we go. That's how it's starting out so far. Very cagey game, only one shot apiece in the first 20 minutes, which isn't great considering that we are playing the team that until very recently were bottom of the conference. And I assume bottom of a supporters' shield as well, because they are quite far down. So it's not great as Pizarro puts another free kick in. Agudelo heading it over this time. We're getting closer and closer, which is positive, but we're not quite putting it in the back of a net yet. And I'd like to see that happen before we get to half-time. We're going to go up to attacking, if I can click on it properly. 5 minutes ago in this first half. Get creative. Come on, let's just do something clever before half-time. We can't do something clever before half-time. Aggressively then, not happy with your performance out there as we kickstart the second half. Are we going to have another boring game with literally no highlights? As we've got a sold-out stadium here today, 18,000 capacity. Well, that's quite good to see. So that's obviously bodes well for the future of Inter Miami if they do manage to sell out their stadium each and every week. Something tells me they might not be able to, though, because they are playing in Fort Lauderdale for quite some time before they actually start to play in Miami. If the Miami Stadium ever actually gets built, I think there's still quite a lot of speculation about that, as with 20 minutes to go, still we're not scoring goals. At this stage, Agadella's going to join the front line with Carranza. Palacios will swap over with Pizarro, who can play on the wing, but then we'll move Palacios over and we'll bring Kisaveta on instead. Agudelo can be a complete forward on support as well. What do we do in these situations? It's really not great, is it? I mean, we need someone to score goals, and today they're just deciding that they don't want to score goals whatsoever. Whatever changes that will make, I just don't think any other substitutes are really going to make that much of a big difference, as Orlando are managing to keep us out. Only a few moments left in today's game. The keeper collects that loose ball, very attacking, shows some passion out there as the Orlando City FC keeper looks to get rid of it. It's just so bizarre how we just, in between episodes, or each episode, we just play so differently. Like yesterday, wins all over the park, quite emphatically as well. Today, we can't seem to score for Toffee as the clock ticks down. And that is another goalless draw with a team that really we should be beating as we drop down to 7th in the conference. With teams who have got games in hand on us, although not Columbus actually, and New England, can't catch us up too much. So we are safe for now, but we have to start picking some wins up somewhere. Got to. We've really got to start picking some wins up. Assistant manager, please go and do that team talk for me. Thank you very much, Jordan Platters. We've got 6 days off now until the Philadelphia Union game, who are sitting 5th in the conference. They're better than us as it stands right now. We have to win it. We have to win it, and I can't quite see a situation when we do win it right now. I think we maybe look to change personnel slightly. Maybe let's move Agudelo up front, see if he can play up front a little bit better than Carranza is right now. Bring Kisaveta back onto the pitch. Maybe just risk things. I think we're playing a good Philadelphia Union side. We've got to bring both Figal and Long back onto the side. If they both get yellow carded, we're going to have to deal with that now. Obviously, playing against the two sides, we played against Columbus and Orlando City. We could take that risk defensively because I think we were strong. Well, I thought we were strong enough. Well, we were strong enough defensively, actually, weren't we? We didn't concede in either of those goals. So perhaps, actually, I am being a little bit harsh on... okay. Well, I thought we could sign Cavani there because it said KN have offered him a contract. But he's already playing for them, so we can't. He kept rejecting us. I say rejecting us. He never wanted to actually sign a contract with us in the first place, which is an issue. Someone in the comment section told me to look at David Silva as well, because in real life, I think people do think he's going to come to Inter Miami. In this version of the game at University, though, he signed a contract extension with Man City, I believe, so he's not actually available right now, which is a little bit frustrating. We can just search him up. David Silva. Actually, he's a free agent now. Interesting. He did sign that contract extension with Man City, but as you can see, is now left. However, he's not interested in signing for us, so we can't sign David Silva. Nice idea, though. Thank you for your suggestions in the comment section and things like that. Right. Philadelphia Union coming up. As I was briefly mentioning before, our defence is good. Perhaps I'm being harsh on Lillard because he has kept 2 clean sheets. But again, I do think we need to bring Long and Figal both back into this side against Philadelphia because they are better than Columbus and Orlando, who we have played in the past 2 games. So we need to get the defence back up going. But more importantly, we need some goals. Goals are the biggest thing right now. After that Philadelphia Union game, I have just seen as well that our new designated player is arriving at the side, Zeratuza, but I'm not sure if we'll be able to register him or not. That's my biggest worry. I'm not sure if he'll actually be able to be registered, which, you know, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens on the 7th of July, just for the Minnesota United game. Hopefully he can play, but I'm not... Agadelo's been called up for the USA side for the Olympics. That's interesting for the 27-year-old when the Olympics is predominantly an under-23 competition. We're going to miss him for that. That's kind of annoying, actually, although saying that he's not scoring goals, is he? So maybe it's not the worst situation, but it does limit our attacking options even more. Pellegrini, though, luckily is getting fit again, so he's eligible to play for, well, he should be able to manage 60 minutes or so. So we'll bring him on the bench instead of Ambrose. Let's see what he can do If we can find Pellegrini, there he is, Pellegrini, get him on there on the bench. We might bring him on later on just for the final 10 minutes or so. Lillard swap with Long, and then we'll bring Lillard off for Figal. We'll bring Agudelo on up front for Carranza, and then Carranza off for Pellegrini. Not Pellegrini, we want Kisiveta on instead, don't we? Not Pellegrini. There we go, that's what we want. Other than that, we'll reluctantly, let's bring Heidman on for Aloha. Let's see what happens there. Submit that team, though. No massive changes. The thing is, we don't have massive strength in the depth of a squad. Like we've got good players, but the depth of the squad isn't great outside of that first 11. And I suppose the salary cap does sort of contribute towards that quite significantly. If we didn't have a salary cap, we could get a lot better players and a lot more quality in the depth and things like that. But Palacios into Kisiveta, who could have opened the scoring for us 20 seconds into the game, puts it over the bar instead. I'm saying that this game today is a must-win game, if I'm honest with you. I genuinely think it's a must-win game as Palacios in towards Kisiveta. This time he does put it in the back of the net fantastically well. Perhaps Kisiveta was the missing link. He's not played the past 2 games and we haven't scored. This time he's playing and he scored within the 7 minutes, the opening 7 minutes of the game, which is great to see. I think it rockets off the crossbar in the end and goes down and bounces over the line just about. Bounces backwards as well, crucially, so it does properly go over the line. It's no contentious decision like the old goal line technology. Before goal line technology, I should say, used to be. I still look back at that Frank Lampard goal. That should have been a goal in the World Cup against Germany in South Africa, and can't believe that wasn't given. I think that really was a big catalyst for goal line technology. Half an hour into this game against Philadelphia, though, we are bossing it. 61% possession out to 63% possession. Plenty more shots. I say plenty more shots. They've just had 2 in quick succession, so it's now 4-3. It's not really that one-sided at all, but we are playing better. It's the best we've played so far in today's episode, I think, and we go into the break 1-0 up, finally, which is great to see. Assistant manager, do a team talk for me. Thank you very much. Start the second half, then. Come on. Let's just see this game out now, see it out, and get some decent results under our belt today. As I say that, Philadelphia managed to equalise from the corner. Andrew Wotton with his 12th of the season. I wish we had a player that could score 12 goals in a season. That'd be fantastic as they get it's a routine corner. What on earth? Oh my God. Who was that on the near post? I think it might have been Sweats, or the far post, sorry, and Sweats not been able to deal with that. That's really annoying. He had to just get in the way of it, but couldn't get in the way of it, unfortunately. Let's go up to attacking then and say, show some passion, because we need some passion in this side to score some goals as Philadelphia looking to come forward. Please don't score a goal. If they come back from behind, which they nearly have done then, it's just a really sorry state of affairs for our team if that's the case. If they can take the lead but then just lose it. Philadelphia have had the better of the second half, I've got to say. And then again, very quickly, the second half's going by, only 15 minutes or so to go. Agudelo off for Carranza, that's the same thing I can think of. Pellegrini on for Palacios. See what that happens. Any changes there, that might be helpful for us. Confirm the changes. Come on then. Come on. 10 minutes to go. Get creative out there. Let's grab a winner in the last minute or so. That would be absolutely perfect. The Philadelphia players look uninspired and uninterested. We, though, just can't quite do anything about it. And it's going to be the third draw in a row. This time 1-1, so we've actually scored some goals, but we took the youngster out of the back. We took Lillard out thinking we need that strong back line, and the strong back line have crippled under the pressure from Philadelphia and conceded. So maybe I'm learning things about the squad. Trust the young players. Maybe let's swap things out a little bit more. Let's be a little bit more ambitious as Long into Trapp. Trapp, finally. We finally won a game in today's episode as Trapp gets on the end of a loose ball there. In the 93rd minute, we've won the game. A big 3 points heading back to Miami with us, which is fantastic. The corner comes in, cleared, only as far as Long, who nods it down to Trapp, and Trapp, unopposed, just shoots, hits it as hard as he can, underneath the keeper. 2-1 to Inter Miami. Fantastic stuff. Very pleased with that one. Passionately, very nice victory. Well done. You love to see it. So that result was actually quite nice for us in some regards because we are back up to 5th now in the Eastern Conference, 39 points. 2 points behind Cincinnati, who have played 2 extra games than us, which is good. Only 2 points behind New York City FC, who have played only The same amount of games as us, which is good to see. And actually, we're only 4 points behind Atlanta United now, so they must have slipped up. However, them and DC United both do have a game in hand, which I presume they're playing over the next couple games or so. Good news for us, though, because Figal has been given a reward for good behaviour, which means that he has had a yellow card taken off him. So now he requires 2 bookings before his ban comes in place, which is quite nice for us there. So good behaviour from Figal. You love to see it, as we've now got a big game against Minnesota United coming up in the US Cup. Fourth round, quarter-final, not fourth round. We had the fourth round last episode and the fifth round. Quarter-finals this time, down to the final 8. This is where it's going to get very, very exciting for us against Minnesota United. Hopefully we can pull this one off, because that'd be fantastic stuff if we can do. Atlanta have just played. I didn't see who they played against, but they drew with New York. So that's a very good result for us, actually, I've got to say. Really good result for us, as it closes the gap ever so slightly. We're apparently set to lose Agudelo because I've not done any contract stuff, which is fair play. It's suggesting, though, that we do change the attacking midfield. Morgan, Carranza and Agudelo playing up there. That's interesting. Perhaps we try that one out against Minnesota. We do have to put out a full-strength lineup, because obviously they're a very good side. But David Zuratuza has signed for the club now. He's our new designated player. Can we actually get him in the squad? That's the biggest question. Can we put in, confirm, squad salary must be less than 63,000, and he doesn't affect any of that, as you can see. So somehow along the way, somewhere, that's now, which is going to, okay. What I'm going to do is save the game first and foremost, because this could get weird, because I feel like if I undo all the changes, and then, or just clear selection and then auto-select the team to get Zuratuza in there, it's going to mess things up somewhere, and I feel like we might want to come back to a certain point to fix things. So, clear selection, auto-select, and that still says we're overpaying. Still says we're overpaying. And that's literally selected everyone still. Can we buy this contract down a little bit? No, clearly a designated player, so it shouldn't really count towards anything. And I feel like I've already bought everyone else's contract down. Buy down salary cap impact. We've not done that for Morgan yet. Or have we? We have done that for Morgan, because he's only being... Yeah, we have, because he's earning 6,500, but we're only paying 3,100. So I really do think we bought down everyone's contract. I think I did that last time out. How about Figal? We want to buy down the salary cap impact, but again, we've done that to Figal as well. So I think we're now in a very weird situation where we are overpaying on our salary cap, but we can't do anything about it. If we take like Figal out of the team, that doesn't seem to affect the salary cap at all. Carranza out, Pellegrini out. It's not affecting the salary cap whatsoever, which is even weirder. So I feel like I can't even do undo changes now either, because, and I just don't quite understand what is going on with this. It just seems really weird. We can't buy anyone's salary cap down, because I've done that already, but we're now overpaying, and because we're now overpaying, we can't actually confirm selection, can we? And because I've clicked clear selection, if we go to the actual team, oh, everyone's still registered. That's okay. That's not too bad. Right. The issue is we just can't register this guy. We just can't register him. And that is the most frustrating part of it, really, isn't it? Which is really annoying. Really annoying. I don't quite know what to do. So, considering that we can't go past this screen now, because we've got to register him, but we can't register him because clear selection, auto select, and then we take him out, and then we just go must respond. We can't go any further. We've got to submit the squad, but we can't submit the squad because, and this is why I saved the game, we literally cannot do anything with him. So if I load this game back up, alright, and what's going to happen here then? Because it's not letting me go past the registration thing, is it? So are we literally like stuck in a bit of a matrix here? where we genuinely cannot do anything. Oh, God, this is really bad. Really bad. Clear selection, then. I've cleared literally the entire squad, and it says we're overspending on the salary cap. Confirms you must have 15 players in the squad, but we can't because, look... Oh, is the game broken, then? Is the game broken? Because it's looking that way to me. And I... literally do not know what to do in this situation. And the thing is, we've only got one save file going as well, I think. And even if we had more, they would be overwritten because we signed 02s months ago. So would have been overwritten anyway. So now at this stage, I literally cannot do anything. I don't think. Which is not great, if we're being honest with ourselves here. Well, I'll load the game up again and just see if we can do something. But if not, I'm going to have to end the episode here and try and work something else out. What we might be able to do, actually, now I think about it, I think we've sort of come to this conclusion that he can't come into the side, all right? If we just go on holiday, return after one day, let's just see what happens with this one. Go on holiday, come back for this Minnesota United game. Hopefully that skipped past things nicely, hasn't it? So he is signed for the club. He is here. He's just not registered to play. So we're paying his wages and we can't really do much about it. But I think that's literally the only way that we're going to be able to get around that issue where even if we unregister everyone from the squad, we're still overpaying on a salary cap, which is bizarre. Ironically, though, because this is a cup game and not an MLS game, he might actually be able to play if we can find him. I think he genuinely can play today. He can. So we can play him in the cup games, just not the MLS games by looks of things, as he wants to be a deep line playmaker. Yeah, go on then. Be a deep line playmaker on support. Pizarro can just be an attacking midfielder for this particular fixture instead. Other than that, we'll leave the side as it is because I don't think it really gets much better. Palacios will come off actually for Lewis Morgan. We'll swap those two chaps over. But other than that, we'll leave it as it is. 02's making his debut for us, but it's potentially only his first and potentially his only game for us as well. Apparently we've got too many foreign players on the bench as well. Pellegrini can come off temporarily for Chapman. That doesn't help out, apparently. Why is it now gone up from 6 players to 7 players when I've just taken Pellegrini off? Does he actually... Oh, does he count as a domestic player, Pellegrini? What's his nationality? Information. Oh, he's got American nationality as well. Did not know that. Fair enough. In that case, Carranza. Off you go. Robinson, on you go. That's not made a difference. Has Carranza also got... Why has everyone got... I don't know why I'm questioning if they've got American nationality or not. Fair play. Carranza, go back on the bench. Palacios, off you come. Surely you don't have... He doesn't. That's okay. Palacios off then. There we go. There's the changes. Only 5 foreign players. Zuratouza potentially playing his only game for us right now against Minnesota United. Hopefully we actually win it and he can play more than one game for us. That's the goal. That's the dream. Come on then, lads. Let's beat Minnesota United here at Allianz Field as Pizarro puts a free kick just wide of the post in the opening few moments of the game. I'm expecting a win, all right? I'm expecting a win. The thing is, I think this Inter Miami side is a very good side, and on our day, we literally can beat anyone in the MLS. I really do believe that, and that obviously stands for the US Cup as well. So, given the circumstances, I would expect us to go and win this game. At the same time, though, I'm sure Minnesota United are very good, and I'm sure that on their day, they could also beat anyone. So it is a tough fixture. That's the beauty of the MLS. The salary cap is in place there to try and encourage teams to, have a level playing field. As Minnesota United just scored, but it is offside. Definitely there's Finley's offside. I do like that about the MLS. The salary cap encourages, a level playing field, but at the same time, it kind of limits how good you can get the players. Unless there was a global salary cap for all players, then that would be, a great thing to do maybe for a level playing field, and that would theoretically mean that any team could beat anyone. But as we see a lot in European football, as Kisiveta puts that one wide, the elite want to stay elites, don't they? I think that's why they always threaten a European Super League and the breakaway leagues and things like that, and not playing in the Champions League, having their own Champions League instead, just because they can get more money that way, can't they? They want to stay rich. That's the issue with European football and the big clubs there. It's not really going to change because the rich stay rich. As Jerome Kissavetta opens the scoring for us today on the 14-minute mark. Will Trapp with a great challenge there. His shot blocked, but Kissavetta waiting and puts that behind the keeper there. Great shot, to be fair. I'm not sure the keeper... I think he might have let it just slip through his hands maybe a little bit, but we're not going to complain too much as Pizarro's picked up a knock early on in today's game. Perhaps we look to change him very quickly because we don't really want to risk him too much. As Pizarro putting a corner in the middle, Lewis Morgan's waiting. We've doubled the scoring here today as we go 2-0 up inside 21 minutes, which is fantastic to see. If only we could have done this in the games we played at the start of the episode, and the draws we had against Orlando, and who else did we draw against? Who was the I can't remember. Columbus Crew. If only we could have just picked up a goal or two in those games, we'd be in much better shape at the end of today's episode. I am going to take Pizarro off, I think, at half-time. He is recovering, but we don't want to aggravate an injury too much, a potential foot injury, which, obviously, you play football with your feet. That could turn into quite a lengthy injury if we leave him on the pitch for too long. So we'll take him off at half-time after a very successful first half there. Can Zarata play in the attacking midfield position? He can do. Advanced playmaker on attack. We'll do that. And then we'll bring a lower on for Pizarro as that central midfielder on defend, just to sort of settle things down in the second half. So the second half is underway, and we have a highlight very early on in less than a minute as Sweat puts the ball in towards Zarata. Zarata looking to make an instant impact and nearly does there, nearly scoring a curling effort. I'd like to get him into the MLS side, obviously, but I just don't understand how we can't get this squad registration thing to work. Maybe, I mean, if you know, let me know in the comment section, but it seems a little bit strange to me how it's just not working out, basically. I'm not entirely sure what's going on, but I'll try and figure it out, but if not, Zarata is only available for the cup matches, which is slightly frustrating, I've got to say. Minnesota coming straight back at us early in this second half as Powers on the ball for them, looking to try and create something, get to that wide to their number 3. Can put a cross into the middle, not quite. Powers can put the cross in though, and Minnesota have clawed one of the goals back. We've got to be on guard now, I think, for the rest of the game. We can't suffer another goal because once we start conceding, our heads drop. I think that's what happens. The heads drop in this Inter Miami side, and that is a bit of an issue. Minnesota, though, coming forward once again, Ethan Finley on the ball. I mean, was easily let through there by a defence. Luckily, though, he is a right back and not a striker, which is why he couldn't score that goal there, which is good to see. He's back on the ball, though, number 13, as Minnesota are having highlights coming thick and fast for them in this second half. It's a great ball across to their number 15, but a good block from our defence, and it's a bit of last-ditch defending from us. We need to grab a third goal to be comfortable as Kissavetta gets it out to Powell, into Zarata, who can put the ball into the middle, into Kissavetta. Agudelo looking for his first goal in a couple of games. Him and Carranza haven't turned up in today's episode. They are very bipolar when it comes to their scoring abilities, and again, we can't score from Lewis Morgan there. Perhaps another change is needed. Perhaps Carranza has to come on for Agudelo, who's looking complacent out there. That's something we should probably look to do. And let's give Pellegrini a little bit more game time and swap him out for Lewis Morgan, who scored a goal earlier on, but we want to get Pellegrini playing some more games because he was fantastic before he got injured. So getting a bit more match sharpness into him is something I think which would be quite good. As Minnesota looking to come forward again, it goes all the way through to the far post. Lobbed their number 16 into their number 3, puts the cross into the middle, and they've equalised. And that is exactly what we didn't want to happen. We were 2-0 up in this game, and we've thrown it away, and the heads drop. The heads are going to drop at this stage. Attacking, get creative out there. We have dominated the stats, but Minnesota have got the better of us in the second half. They're doing very well. They are looking really tired, though, so perhaps if we looked up the tempo in a minute or so, that might help us out. But our attack sort of peters out there. Figao collects their loose ball, and we look to come straight back at them as Powell on the ball cuts inside into Zuratouza, who shoots from distance, and that is what David Zuratouza can do for us. If only we could register him for the MLS, that would be fantastic. But he gets his first goal for the club on his debut. Fantastic stuff from him as Will Trapp plays it out to Powell. Powell just plays it nicely back to Zuratuza, who just sets it up for himself, shoots, top corner. There's no stopping that whatsoever. 3-2 to us with 10 minutes to go, back down to balanced. Encourage the boys out there for the final 5 minutes just to give them that lift they need to get through to the semi-finals of the US Cup. I think we've done it. We've done it. Minnesota United 2, Inter Miami 3. And I've just noticed we have the exact same kit as well, which is pretty weird. We just don't have any sponsors on ours. I'm not sure if that might be the case. I'm not sure, but that is weird if that is the case. I don't know. I downloaded a kit pack, so it might be slightly wrong, maybe. DC United have got the same kit as us. FC Dallas have the same kit as us. They've got these stripes. Perhaps it's just an MLS thing, maybe. But I feel like that might be the kit pack that I've got. Perhaps that's... Zuratuza scores on his debut, which is fantastic stuff. Unfortunately, he's maybe only going to have one more game for us, which is not great out there, I've got to say. Who do we play in the next round, though? That's what we want to know. When do we find out? It's very, very soon. We'll see it next episode, so that's quite exciting. We've got international break first before the New York City FC game comes around. And we've been drawn against LA Galaxy or Seattle, which will be quite the interesting tie. So join me next time. New York City FC, they have a different kit to us, so maybe not everyone has the exact same kit, but it looks like most clubs might have the same kit. Either way, that is it for today's episode, so thank you ever so much for watching. Make sure you drop a like on the video and subscribe to the channel if you're new around here, and I'll see you next time. Have a great evening. Goodbye.